All right, it's Thursday, June 4th. The Rundown is presented by the entire sport of horse racing, with some of our other favorite sports on hold. People are looking for something to bet on. They're looking for something to enjoy, and that's where horse racing comes in. Major horse racing is back. I'm talking Churchill Downs, Belmont Park, Santa Anita, and more, and you can bet all on it legally right from your phone. Learn how to cash big on the ponies, build your bankroll, and impress your friends by visiting americasbestracing.net/strong. That's americasbestracing.net/strong. Portnoy and Big Cat out. We got Rony Baby the Prince and Uncle Chapsy in. And I figured no better person right now to talk on the Rundown than Chaps with the Drew Brees situation. And somehow, some way, we're back to talking about kneeling for the anthem. It's the story that will never die. Chaps, your thoughts on everything and what Drew Brees has got to do here because he's really stepped in it now.
I think he did the right thing in apologizing. You just got to read the room, man. Like, it's tough for a guy that went to Purdue and now is making $30 million a year to, like, put himself in the position of others. But you got to do it. You can't come out with and be so unbelievably tone deaf.
I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America.
He's just so tone deaf, especially in New Orleans, man, of all cities. What are you doing?
And like with an interview with Yahoo Finance, like what were you guys even fucking talking about? Like
that guy's never getting another interview. Never.
Ever. Like how do you let yourself get swept up in this when, he's clearly not like a divisive guy or a hateful person, but now is like the forefront and the poster child for the anti-Black Lives Matter movement. He had to wake up this morning and be like, fuck.
I think he gets duped a lot, though. Didn't he get duped by one of those like adoption agencies that had like a bunch of views that he didn't end up agreeing with, and they got him to be the spokesperson? I feel like Drew Brees just might be a dumb person.
What you got, Ron?
His apology was full of shit. I didn't believe it for a second. It was an apology that he just squeezed out because he felt like he had to apologize because so many people were down his throat. If he meant an apology, he would have gone on video and said it with his face. I still wholeheartedly believe that he believes what he said, and he's sorry he got caught pretty much at the end of the day.
Well, I don't have a problem necessarily. What he said is really a matter of opinion. Like you can't tell Drew Brees he's wrong, that when Drew Brees looks at the flag, he thinks of his grandfather fighting in war. He thinks of veterans giving everything up. And so he chooses to stand. That's all well and good. Like he's entitled to that opinion. I just think that you have to understand it's the way you phrased it is undermining basically the Black Lives Matter movement and basically the entire cause right now. And two, it's just like Chap said, read the fucking room. Even if you really believe this shit and even if you really have your opinions, probably not the time to do it.
It's not about sports right now, but the fact that he did it, every other NFL team has to be excited that there's dissent in that locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, going back to World War II, everybody acts like all those guys are essentially like perfect and everything was perfect because they went to World War II. When they came back from World War II, they didn't allow black soldiers, black Marines to sit at the same tables with them when they came back to the chow hall. They let German prisoners of war sit at the table with them before they let black Americans. So whenever you're hearkening back to World War II, remember they were racist as fuck back then as well.
Yeah, that's usually a good rule of thumb. If we're going to go 50, 60, 70 years back, it's probably going to be more fucking racist than it is now.
Right.
You can bank on that.
We didn't go backwards since 1943.
We just spoke to Nate Boyer on CCK, and he had some great stuff. But he also explained that, and I don't think I knew this, so I'm not sure. Maybe this is just me not being informed, but I don't know if the general public feels this way. I thought that when he told him to take a knee, that was something that was kind of like maybe I want to use the word like protocol. Like that was what you're like, if you want to protest, here's what you're supposed to do. And Nate explained that was just kind of his idea. He was like, I think it looks lazy and disrespectful when you're sitting. So why don't you formalize it and take a knee? Because people kneel before fallen soldiers. They kneel when they pray. But when I learned that it was just his idea kind of, and that a lot of the people in the armed forces disagree with him, that did change my mind a little bit, where I didn't realize that this was something that is still open to interpretation, really.
Yeah, I think Nate, and he's been on ZBT, I think that the only thing that he could have done more at the beginning, he should have been way more vocal, like in being like, hey, this was my idea, like coming out in front and taking that brunt of it, because I think that's what it turned into. Nate could have done a lot more to stop that. And I like him. I think he's a good dude. And I think if you asked him, he would go back and do that very differently.
What would you think is the split, if you had to just generalize and guess here, like veterans and active servicemen and women support versus they find it to be disrespectful?
I think there's been like a growth process, I would say. I think that at first it was something that was shocking, like because you are like ingrained. Like for us, it's just so different when you hear it. Like Kate talked about it on tomorrow's ZBT. The first time I came back from deployment and was at a baseball game or a football game and they're playing the national anthem and you're looking around, you do remember like things and you're like, man, like something that I did like provided a little bit of freedom. You have that innate pride. But then if you really take a step back, and I hope most veteran and active duty members are doing this now, where you take a step back and you realize this is the cost of freedom. Like this, like the First Amendment is what we are protecting. The first, the second, the third, fourth, we're protecting them all. And if people don't use those amendments, you might as well throw them out the window. There's no reason to have them and protect them if people can't willingly and openly use them.
Yeah, there's this whole huge vibe of, I fought for your right to do this. Now stop doing it. It's like, wait a second, those two things don't really balance out. But
exactly.
I think what Drew Brees said was important, not because of the idea of his message, but because I think that he represents a substantial proportion of the American population that thinks like, I'm not against this movement, but I'm just going to keep low until this passes over, and I'm just going to wait until things go back to normal. And I think the point of it is, things aren't going to go back to normal, and you have to prepare yourself to confront it either now, or you're going to have to confront it when NFL, NBA, and a ton of professional athletes are protesting against this and using their voice in the best way they know how.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a good example of like I said, I don't think Drew Brees is hateful or openly, against this movement. But I think there's a lot of people who aren't, that don't realize that some of the shit they say or some of the opinions they put out there, it's kind of like, well, I know you didn't mean that to be disrespectful, but you're coming off like a fucking asshole if you really think about it. Like, just take the time to think like one step further, and you'd realize, oh shit, I kind of sound like an asshole here. What'd you think, Ron, of his picture choice, the stock photo?
What do you think he Googled? What do you think that he typed in?
Oh, no, he literally, if you Google black hand, white hand shaking, it's like number one on Google Images.
If you do that, you got to go kids. You got to go like,
yeah,
I think it's better if you go children.
Yeah, I mean, Malcolm Jenkins, he pulled no punches.
Drew Brees, if you don't understand how hurtful, how insensitive your comments are, you are part of the problem. Even though we're teammates, I can't let this slide.
How much do you think, from a football point of view, is this something you think he can like relatively easily smooth over, Chaps, or you think he's going to be in some trouble here?
I mean, he's kind of said those type of things before where it seemed tone deaf to the locker room in the city that he's in. If he wasn't one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, New Orleans would hate him. I mean, can you imagine if he wasn't the Drew Brees on the football field that he is, and he said those things multiple times about the city that he lives in? He
I
would
also
be destroyed.
I started to see people throwing around, like he's going to have a lot of records, but he's 8-8 in the playoffs, and he's only won once in 19 years. So you're getting to the point where, I think for the longest time he brought them a championship, and that's all that mattered. But then when you're also going to be an asshole on the other side of things, you better have a fucking Tom Brady-esque type of resume.
He better not do anything when he's not actively playing. If he has a year where he throws less than 4,500 yards, he cannot do that.
Yeah, it's true, right?
He's done. Like they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. They are not a Super Bowl contender. Vegas should shift their odds entirely. The cosmos will not allow Drew Brees to win the Super Bowl this year. He's cursed himself. He's cursed the franchise. If I was his teammate, I'd be pissed off not only for what he said, but because he just tanked our entire 2020 NFL season.
Coming in hot.
I swear to God, bro, they're fucked now.
I don't disagree. It's like, it's so fucking hard to win a title as is. There's a chance that this season's going to be kind of wacky as is. And now you're going to add this type of, it's like everyone always talked about the distraction with Kaepernick or Tebow or whoever. Like, guess what? You got one on your hands now, because this is going to be a thing for a long fucking time to come, I bet.
And Michael Thomas going on Twitter like right away and be like, he doesn't know any better. I mean, the guy's fucking 40. He should.
Why? Yeah, then that's a problem. That's not an excuse. That's another condemnation because what the fuck don't you know by now?
If you looked at Coley's blog, the fact that Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Malcolm Jenkins, all of his high-profile teammates immediately condemned him. They have problems in that locker room now.
Big time. And across the league, too. I saw Jamal Adams. I think who else was it? Just being like, damn, Drew. Like, come on, man. Like, I thought – and so you're not going to have any extra friends. You might have a couple extra enemies. It's a problem for, social reasons. It's also a problem for football reasons. Second half of the rundown here is brought to you by NASCAR. NASCAR heads down to Atlanta Motor Speedway this Sunday at 3 p.m. on Fox, and you don't want to miss any of the action on the track. After dumping Joey Logano into the wall, cost him a shot at Bristol last week, watch as fan favorite Chase Elliott looks to dominate his hometown track. Be sure to tune into the NASCAR Cup Series Sunday, June 7th at 3 p.m. Eastern on Fox, or be sure to download the NASCAR Finish Line app, where a free play to our NASCAR Predictor game can give fans the chance to win $25,000 every single race. So download the app and watch NASCAR Sunday, June 7th, 3 p.m. on Fox. We got this wild story that reads like fucking Mad Libs, where legendary porn star Nacho Vidal is being charged with manslaughter after accidentally killing someone during a mystic ritual involving poisonous rainforest toads. Whew, that's a mouthful. Everybody
Did you guys
knows
know who he was? Had you both heard of?
Oh
No, I didn't know he was a porn star. No, I didn't know that.
You guys don't know Nacho?
Uh-uh.
Oh, now I'm starting to feel like a real fucking creep. But I mean, Nacho is
Has he been in the game for a while, or is he a new bird?
Oh yeah. I mean, we were all tagging Asa and shit on Twitter, and she was like, "I've fucked that guy hundreds of times, and I've never died of a mystic ritual, so I don't know what you're talking about." But yeah, I mean, if you're a porn creep like me, I guess you for sure know your boy Nacho. He's deep in the game. I don't know what kind of mystic rituals. Rowan, I feel like you might be a mystic rituals guy. You're into curses and karma and cosmic and cosmos. So what do you think about mystic rituals involving poisonous toads?
I would definitely try poisonous toad. I would definitely take a lick off the back of a poisonous toad. I'll try any of that shit any day. And I don't necessarily think that he should be shamed because he got into some kink shit. Like if you're into like some dom shit and you have like a gimp mask on somebody and they suffocate, are you really going to be like, oh, he suffocated them? No, it's a malfunction in the gimp shit. It's like, it's part of having kinks. You might die.
That's a hazard.
Friends, that's also part of the First Amendment. Like it's another topic, First Amendment. You can't, if they say it's a ritual, you must acquit automatically. Right. If it's a ritual, you gotta acquit, because if it's religious in any way, like, hey, I told him about it, he's licking a frog, he knew the risk, he thought he's gonna see God or whatever, fuck it, dude, lick a frog.
What about that pastor that used to have like poisonous snakes that he would like bite himself with, and like that was part of the ritual, then people died? Wasn't he absolved from it because it was some ritual shit?
I'm pretty sure. And the guy that killed himself with the Hail Bop movement, he was never charged.
If I was the lawyer, I'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, it's a mystic ritual. I rest. Like, that's it. That's all you got to say in my mind. Anything that goes wrong in a mystic ritual, I feel like it's like if you go bungee jumping or skydiving or you do some risky shit, it's basically implied that you're going to give up your rights here. Because if you're letting anybody willingly do anything to you with the poisonous toad. Now, if the mystic ritual didn't specify dangerous toads,
or you sneaky shove it in somebody's ass or something,
that's a problem. If a mystic toad's going up my asshole, I gotta know about it.
I gotta know. Whoa, regular toad or poisonous toad?
Right. So once it's all on the table, if Nacho was forthcoming and honest about the extent of this mystic ritual and just how poisonous the toads are, then I think we can all agree, let that man get back to doing some fucking on camera.
I have a question. Where is he getting the toads from? Where is the drug dealer toad coming from? Like, is there a drug
That's
dealer
a road you do not want to go down, Ron.
That's
a road you don't want to go down.
You don't want to open up Pandora's box, Ron. But you know what? That's what law enforcement should be. You know what? It's like when you get the small-time drug dealer and you say, we'll give you immunity if you give us the top dog. Well, Nacho's not the guy here. You got to find the poisonous toad traffickers.
He's low level. Like, there has to be a toad breeder who has a toad farm, like the cartel or some shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You coming in and it's looking like Santa's little helpers in The Simpsons with all those puppies running around, but it's just poisonous toad jumping up and grabbing a chip.
Ron, are you telling me that if I get you a poisonous toad, that like, you know, we can just have ourselves a night? You're down?
Dude, I mean, I need to know the statistics, but if it's if it's greater than 95% chance of me living from this, I'll lick a toad. I'll lick a toad.
You put up a 5% chance you die? I'll be honest, that sounds a little bit high.
Russian roulette is 1 in 6. You're saying I have a 1 in 20 spin in the gun that it's gonna fucking kill me? I'll lick a toad. There has to have been an upside to this, no?
Yeah, what's the upside? That's what we need to know. Like, if the upside's like you nut like right away or something. Like, that would be sick.
You nut like you're peeing, like it just can't
Yeah.
stop nutting. You have, like,
It's got to be the juice has got to be worth the squeeze.
and it had to have been. Also,
Yeah, you don't take that chance if it's not.
He had a penis candle business too. That was part of the headline. How do you get a mold for a penis candle?
I think I know.
Paper mache?
Yeah, there's like kits where you can clone your dick. I've heard.
You guys did that, right?
I tried to do it. So I got
How did it go?
It went poorly. So I got it sent to me, and how it works, it comes in like a big canister, and you you open the canister, and then you're supposed to chop the plastic so that it's like fits your dick kind of, and then you whip up some paper mache in a bowl, and you pour it into that canister, and then you stick your dick in it, right? But here's the problem. You got to work fast because the shit dries in like 20 seconds or something. So, you know, I was out of tension and ready to go. And then I took some time to whip up the mache.
Yeah.
And by the time I needed to put my dick on it, my dick wasn't at full mast anymore.
You really need a helper.
And I'm like, I can't put like a half C in there. If I'm going to clone my dick, I want it to be my full dick. And then I'm like, by the time I did it, I was just left with like a messy, flaccid dick and a bowl of paper mache. It was a disaster.
That's a real, like, what am I doing with my life kind of moment.
Big time. It was in a dark period of my life, and I was just like, what am I doing? Clean it up, Clancy. Clean it up.
I'm fucking in my 30s. I got paper mache dick.
You be attracted to paper mache. Like, that has to be what makes you hard for it to be the perfect mold.
It's either that or it's got to be a 2-man operation. Maybe Rowan can whip up the paper mache for me, and I'll just stick it.
Like a magician's assistant. You're just on the side and like, woof.
Ron's fucked up on poisonous frog, whipping up some paper mache.
Whip it up, whip it up, whip it up.
I'd be so fucking confused, but also probably into it.
We'll give it a try. We'll give it a whirl. Like you said, I'll try anything once, man. Chaps, we got this Podfathers-esque video. We got a old crusty bitch walking through the park yelling at parents because 3 kids in a Power Wheels car, quote, don't have a driver's license.
What bothers me is you have a little kid in here that doesn't have a driver's license. He's just a little kid.
If you were at this park and it was Cardi and your family in the Power Wheels, how would you react to this bitch?
Well, at first, when I first saw the video, my reaction was on the Power Wheel team. Like, I was on Team Power. They're out there goofing, having a good time. But you don't see the whole scene. If this old woman got hit in the shin with this Power Wheel, all bets are off. You hit somebody in the shin, your brain stops functioning and you're demanding driver's license. That's just the way it goes.
Young, old, doesn't matter. Power Wheels to the shin is going to
Power Wheel also looks like a clown car. There was like 20 kids in the Power Wheel. Were there enough?
They're safety rated. Yep.
That could be a problem too.
So it was a violation of Power Wheels law, is what you're saying, Rowan.
Well, there's a certain etiquette that goes along with Power Wheels at the park.
I mean, you know, when you see someone being an asshole to kids at the park, it looks like bad. But if those kids were being like kids often are, if they were being
or acting, you know, like chicken that you play with your pals or your kids whenever they're trying to get in their car and you're scooting forward. If these kids are going at her and then like, we're not gonna, oh, you gotta cuss those kids out.
License and registration, motherfuckers.
Gotta flip them over. Like, we're getting to a point where any parent yelling at somebody else's kids is going to get shamed online. Is there anything you can yell at kids for anymore?
Well, this kid that was at my house, so we've been having like the basketball hoop out, and
oh boy,
lately, like this one kid just comes over. None of my family members are outside. He'll just come over and just start shooting. Well, I've been doing like my new hobby of like woodworking, which I never thought I would do ever. And I was in my garage messing with some stuff, and he just casually starts like screaming, like, ah! Like when he thinks he's going to miss, he'll do like this high pitched scream. And like, I took my headphones off. I was like, dude, you got to get the fuck out of here, man. He's like 8. I'm like, you just got to go, bro. You just got to go home.
You can't be screeching in the neighborhood for no goddamn.
No, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't like to miss. I'm like, we don't make that noise. Like, just suck it up.
Just get better, bro. If you're going to be screeching,
take it on the chin.
Like 80% from the field because I don't want to fucking hear it.
And his name is Deuce. Fucking idiot.
Deuce?
Yeah.
Unless it's McAllister, you can't be Deuce anymore.
He's like a little kid that's constantly wearing a bike helmet. And I have no idea why.
Oh, no. Well, wait a minute. Now I might be on the kid's side. Do you know exactly who you're yelling at here, Chad?
Oh, yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
No issues.
Because if Deuce with the bike helmet.
He just likes it a lot.
Jeff gave him a psychological evaluation before he started telling him to get.
Yeah, fill out this fucking form.
If he's on your property, though, it's your kid. Like, where are his parents? Like, you are in charge of him.
Yeah, you could shoot him. It's your property. No big deal. Just beat him up next time.
Honestly, he got away pretty fortunate when you just tell him to get out of here. This is Texas, after all.
Rowan, what's next for balcony drops? You guys working on anything?
Dude, I think I'm about to start getting in trouble with my neighbors. I don't think that anyone likes this. I don't think that anyone in my building is okay with me just like screaming off the balcony, dropping ice cream like a fucking schmuck. Like I'm 17 years old.
I feel like I can just imagine every day, like whatever time of the afternoon, you're a neighbor of Rowan's, you just hear, "Let's go!" And he's like, "Oh, they're fucking throwing stuff off the balcony again, aren't they?"
But you're doing it at like 11 in the morning. That's the ideal. That's not even nap time. Like, I could see them being upset if they had kids and it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, like peak nap time. You're not at nap time. I feel like you could be able to do whatever you want to.
I think that what we're learning from like the people that are complaining, these Karens in the park, people really just want something to complain about. And any little disturbance during the daytime, like if they're working from home and they hear Big Cat outside whooping it up, they're going to just have a problem with it because it'll satisfy something within them. So I think we're going to do live Periscope telephone drop and then end it.
Okay, like a big grand finale. Get the best.
Everyone wants us to do a water balloon full of piss or something like that. Like, why would he agree to get piss on him?
I like it.
I would just love to see if like a neighbor was complaining. These two kids are throwing stuff off the balcony, and then like they confront you, and you're both like 30-year-old men.
One.
No, we're grown adults. We're just idiots.
It's actually for work, dude.
Work from home. Yo, KFC, me and you have some beer pong beef to settle.
Let's fucking do this, you little bitch boy. Let's go. I feel like maybe if schedules work out, maybe I can just come into the office and do it face-to-face, or do they want it to be over the computer?
Fuck it. Let's do it at the office.
How did you play in your first round?
I sucked, but I was playing against Vindog, who had never played before in his life, so I squeaked one out.
Me and Tyler must have played for like 50 minutes. It was the worst game ever, but I got that dub. I got like the monkey off my back. I'm out of retirement. I got the 4-5 on. Yeah. I'm coming for that ass, Ron. I'm coming for you.
Tomorrow we'll be in, or about 3 or 4 days next week we'll be in too.
All right, cool. So we'll schedule it up. We'll have to come up with a side wager, but you scare me with the potential things you'll come up with because it'll be some fucking wacky shit, I know.
Toads.
Balloon with piss.
Toads. Yeah, I'll be eating. You don't even have to lick a toad. Loser has to eat a poisonous toad live.
Yeah, balloon full of poisonous toad venom.
That you pee on top of. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so I'll be seeing you soon on the beer pong table. Chaps, what's cooking? You got ZBT? You got anything on deck? You tell the people what's up.
Yeah, I had a interview this week with a dude who had never told his story before. He had 4 distinguished flying crosses, a Bronze Star, a Purple Heart, and Air Medal with Combat V, all in one deployment. 1,600 hours of flight time, flying it with a machine gun, doing spotting, dropping smoke grenades on folks for 1,600 hours in Vietnam. He had never told his story before. His son found some of his medals, reached out to me, and he agreed to come on the show. He's been an attorney in Michigan for like 40 years. This is the first time he's ever told his combat stories. It was crazy.
God damn. Great get by you. That's incredible, man.
How do you stay alive for 1,600 hours in war? Like,
that's 67 days in a helicopter, like flying around trying to shoot people.
And more importantly that, Rowan, how do you keep quiet when you get back home and you're the fucking man? I'd be telling everybody every time.
No. You guys know me. How often do I mention getting shot? Like every day. This guy got shot with a 50 caliber machine gun and never told his family.
Crazy.
A 50 caliber machine gun went through his foot.
You never told anybody the story?
He told like his uncle who had been in World War II, but never talked about it with kids. They didn't know the story. Some of the stories that he told me, I sent his son and brothers the file before we released it on ZBT because I thought they should be able to hear it first. He was like, we never heard him say any of that stuff.
Oh, shit. I would tell you guys every 2 goddamn seconds.
I know. And I told him, I was like, I hate having somebody on the podcast that's been shot with a larger caliber weapon than me.
This is my bag here. This is my seat.
Chaps, when do you get somebody's movie rights? Like, you need to be close to, like, you have so many people that come in that are like, these guys are telling the craziest stories. You got to just snatch up somebody's rights.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's the past week, dude, I had – on Monday's show, we had Woody Williams, who's 96 years old. He's the last Marine alive from World War II who was a Medal of Honor recipient. He operated a flamethrower on Iwo Jima, and they didn't train to use a flamethrower or anything like that. It just showed up in a box, and they had to figure it out. And then he went to Iwo Jima and was shooting it into pillboxes and killed like a shit ton of people. Now he's 96 years old and just hanging out. Then we had this story. I also interviewed this week, I also interviewed a senator from Arizona who's the first woman ever to fly an A-10 in combat and did gun runs where she talked about what it looked like whenever you shot a row of people. Crazy stories lately.
You should just be like, yeah, here, just sign this. It says that like you're going to be on the podcast, and it's actually them signing away their story.
Right. I get all the rights, yeah.
ZBT,
ZBT, a TV show would be great.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, anything's possible.
Let's
all right, that's it for us. Hopefully Davey Page is making his money.
It's all documented. Unlike all the other shysters, fast talkers, used car salesmen, snake oil salesmen, who just talk with their little blue check marks, I deliver the results my clients demand of me.
Lord knows that, we don't want him. He doesn't have enough money as is.
40%! 40%!
We got to make sure he's playing the bets right. And we'll catch you guys. No, not tomorrow. We'll see you guys next week for another rundown.